Welcome to CiNEMACHiNE, where we review movies, and this week we have to pay off our Movie Wed episode. Now, if you haven't watched our Movie Wed episode, we pinned these two guys, Brandon and Ryan, with their lovely wives in a game that's similar to the Newlywed Game, but it's the Movie Wed Game, and I believe the victor of the game was...
Who won again, Brandon?
Who was that?
I don't remember. I blacked out.
I bet you did.
Yeah. Ryan, and explain how you and Katie won, kind of playing a David
I'll give
Ortiz.
you the answer to that. Katie gave him the answer when she said, I should have said Katniss in the last thing.
Oh,
the
now
answer
we
was
got
Jennifer
now
Lawrence.
I should have said Katniss.
Yeah.
Oh.
Play it back. Insert clip now. Beep.
All right.
That sounds like extra editing.
I've had multiple people say this is maybe not a fair game. We'll see.
Look, you and Melissa talking to each other.
Is that a
multiple.
rematch? Is that a rematch challenge? Bring it.
They're the ones that pointed out to me. I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I'd say it with me.
Well, multiple people cannot be you and Melissa just doing different voices. That's all I'm saying, Brandon. So, but we will have a rematch.
Your Honor, I'd like to bring Chris to the pod. He was the first person that said it.
Well, anywho, we will have a rematch down the road, and we'll have some more, I guess, audience participation in the rematch. So stay tuned for that. However,
Lifelines.
yeah. So I think both of the wives, Melissa and Katie, were kind of asking for some help if they could phone a friend and stuff like that, and I had to say this wasn't that show, but
hey, Al, I'm here on.
I just wanted to ask, how was it? So every week we record these episodes, and you guys are here for the whole episode, but for that episode you had to leave the room here and there. So whenever you did,
I love that part.
Yeah, not seeing you guys was great,
And watching it back, it seems you enjoyed it as well, Al.
it was funny. It was really funny.
Plenty of time to talk trash about Zack Snyder without us being able to defend ourselves.
Yeah,
It's cool.
and I learned more about obsessions and things of that nature and just how deep those obsessions go. But before we talk too much about that episode, please go back. We'll link it down in the description here so you can go back and watch that episode. It's pretty funny, and you get to know a little bit more about Brandon and Ryan and their wives and the movies that they have enjoyed and maybe not enjoy. So it works
Good times.
out. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So, and they were good sports. So, ladies, thank you again for being on the episode.
Indeed.
Yeah. So Ryan won. Ryan and Katie won.
Congratulations, Ryan.
So
Thanks, Brandon.
So
had to-
happy for you.
I can tell.
this is as close to sports as Brandon will get. So we had to pay it off. Ryan and Katie selected Knives Out as their movie of choice if they won. And we had a lot of comments about this. We had a lot of people talking about. I mentioned that if it was a tie, there would be 3 movies that I would have chosen. And I would have let the ladies pick a number from those. And somebody asked, "What were those 3 movies?" Well, you'll have to go back and read the comments of that section, and you can comment because we were asking if you guys would like us to do any reviews on those. I know Brandon and Ryan do not, but
Correct.
yeah.
Affirmative.
But no. Ryan, do you want to tell them how they can get in touch with us, comment, ask us questions or whatever?
Yeah. Easiest thing to do is comment section on YouTube if you're watching here, or if you're watching there. And also on Instagram, we have some pretty awesome conversations going on in the comments there. So at CiNEMACHiNE and you can find us on Twitter and Facebook too. But the most lively conversation seems to happen on Instagram. So
yeah, and we totally welcome everybody to disagree with us. We're not going to get into a yelling match with anybody because it's just silly. But we're having a good time, and that's what the entire premise of our show is to start a conversation about movies and maybe even get you guys and gals to watch some movies that you might not have thought of to begin with. So without further ado, fellas, let's talk about, well, Knives Out. This is a Rian Johnson joint. And this movie was extremely hyped when it came out. So
they put a fair amount of ad dollars into it for the genre for sure.
Yeah, no, this movie was very well hyped. Got a lot of Oscar nods, and we'll get into all of that. But I want to say the storyline here to begin with. When
I think it was just one Oscar nod. Al.
No,
Fake news.
they had multiple. They had
was there?
Yeah.
Fake news.
Actress. Yeah. They had actress.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll trust you.
Yeah. Well, that's too
Actress and what?
bad. I think film of the year, wasn't it?
Got him.
I think film of the year. I think it was
Film of the year.
Well,
They got nominated for Film of the Year.
Well, you know.
It's a new
cares?
category.
Who really cares about the Oscars anymore? They don't.
Was it a People's Choice Award?
It was.
I'll slime you.
I only. Let me tell you, the only award show that means anything is the VMAs. That's
the
all
Dove
I'm saying.
Awards. I agree.
The Dove Awards. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, when renowned crime novelist Harlan Thrombey, played by Christopher Plummer, is found dead at his estate just after his 85th birthday, the inquisitive and debonair detective Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, is mysteriously enlisted to investigate. From Harlan's dysfunctional family to his devoted staff, Blanc sifts through a web of red herrings and self-serving lies to uncover the truth behind Harlan's untimely death. That is the synopsis.
Confirmed.
Yeah, that's not fake news at all. So what did you guys think going, let's put it this way, like we were talking about, it was hyped quite a bit. So what did you guys think about this movie going into it with the marketing and things of that nature? Were you pumped about it? And did you end up seeing it in theater, or did you see it at home?
So I'll be honest, I was excited to see it, but I had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth from
Star Wars. Yeah.
So I was a little worried about and you know, it's not the same type of movie, but I was a little worried about the humor, just because I didn't really enjoy the humor, the type of humor, I guess, in episode 8. So, but I mean, I was excited about the cast and the premise.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll say. I'll say pretty much the same thing. Except I was very. I'm very much a Rian Johnson fan. I liked Brick. I liked.
Big fan of Last Jedi. This guy
liked Looper. I am not a fan of Last Jedi, but I don't hate it like a lot of people do. I'm like, right, like I have things I like about it. I have things I really dislike about it. Yeah, I was a little. It was definitely a step down in Rian Johnson's filmography for me. But with this cast and kind of a whodunit type story, I was pretty excited for that. And even the thing about Rian Johnson is I've listened to a lot throughout the years. I've listened to a lot of interviews with him, and even like his commentary on The Last Jedi, like a lot of his reasonings behind things. It's like I appreciate him as a creator, and even though I might disagree with some of the choices that he made in Last Jedi, I still it was interesting getting his insight on stuff like that. And so he just seems like a really down to earth, cool guy. And I really like his filmmaking just in general. So I was pretty excited to see this one.
I think he's totes rad, bro.
Yeah, man. I like him.
Al,
Let's
what
hang
about
out.
you?
Come on, Ryan. Rian. I like the way he
I-
spells his name too. Unlike like
I
other
don't.
people
I think
that
it's really
spell Ryan.
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. How many people do you think Rian? How many his upcoming, like his upbringing, like people call him Rian? Yeah, I was excited about folks in the cast and things of that nature. It's really hard to judge an independent, so to speak, filmmaker on a big budget movie, or not, maybe not independent, but like a lower budget filmmaker on a big budget movie, because there's so many hands in the cookie jar and things like that. And I know that Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy, all that stuff, and I honestly I don't care one way or the other about Star Wars. I like it. I've explained it on here. I like it because my nephew likes it, and
I don't know if you've explained on here. Why don't you explain it?
I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world.
Now,
No, period.
you were a big
like
Star Wars fan before
like it.
the new trilogy.
No, I like
Here
it.
we go.
I like it just fine. But I'm not like I don't know everything. I don't know all the different ins and outs of it. I don't keep up with everything. When I was a kid, I didn't have Star Wars toys, things like
I
that.
would say that. Well, yeah, you're not like that.
I'm not a
into
nutcase
it,
about
but
it. Yeah.
I would say that you and I, and probably Ryan, were all on the same level going into this new trilogy. I think they were all
I was
pretty
excited
good.
about the new trilogy.
I mean, even you may not have any collectibles of Star Wars, but you, like Ryan,
Yeah, me neither.
You still had the same
learned
like level
differently.
of appreciation of the original trilogy. I think
Definitely no collectibles.
No.
here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said on a show a couple weeks ago, I went and saw Empire Strikes Back in the theater. It's always been on my bucket list. One of
Yeah,
those
we
movies
didn't
to
do that.
watch.
You did.
Yeah, I did because
you
I'm
like 'em?
closer to theaters. Whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Knives out.
I appreciate him, but I wasn't mad at him like some people were. Is my point in saying all of that? I wasn't like, oh, how dare you? This, that, and the other.
I was.
But I was more disappointed in the fact that they just totally did what they did and disregarded this, that, and the other. Anyway, it's not a Star Wars podcast.
Or is it?
So
The surprise review.
Well, let's
the
get back
Kate
to your
guest.
the other part of that question as far as theatrical or like home video. Ryan, you saw it in theaters, right?
Yep.
I did not. I guess Al, you watched it this week, so no, you didn't either. So
yeah, I saw it right after a hurricane. So, which explains the bunk beds. I'm in Alabama. And,
have we not addressed the bunk beds yet?
no. I'm in the
Everything's normal. Everything's fine here.
I was in the process of
How are
moving,
you?
and so I thought I'd come down for my nephew and my niece's birthday parties. And I'm at my dad's house, and this is the grandkids' room, which we'll put a photo out. It's pretty funny on social
And
media.
yes, he is the top bunk.
and you would not be able to mistake that it is the grandkids' room.
Yeah, it just says Al across the wall.
Aptly
It says
labeled.
Al's room across the wall. If it didn't, Brandon's gonna Photoshop it so it does. So,
Welcome home, Al.
so anyway, no, I got stuck here after the hurricane, and I'm gonna be here a little bit longer, so you might see me here for another episode. You never know. So I got to help with cleanup and
Stay
stuff, so.
tuned.
Anyway, yeah, I saw it here at my dad's
On
house.
the top bunk.
No, I watched it. I started watching it with my sister. Her power was out, so she had to come over and do clothes and stuff like that. And then I had 30 minutes in, I had to go out and help my dad like clean up the debris from the hurricane. So my sister had all sorts of questions, and I told her she couldn't talk to me until after I do the show. So
Nice.
she had to,
Make her watch it.
yeah,
Company man.
Anyway, so shout out Amanda.
Sounds like you're really be able to focus on this movie when you watched it. That's good.
no,
no
when I did
interruptions.
watch it that evening by myself, full focus. So it was just fine.
He was dialed in.
Yeah,
Cool.
Surround sound, everything.
So what do we think about it?
Oh, right.
Al, you go first. You go first, Ryan. Al, you go first. You don't get to go first ever. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go. Tables turned.
I
My,
thought
how the turntables.
I thought this movie was pretty good. I thought it was a little overhyped.
Whoa.
I think people act like this movie is like some big artsy, fantastical movie,
Here it comes.
and it's not.
Yeah,
It's
I think
not
it was
that.
good. It sucks.
No, it didn't suck.
Is it a stinker or?
No, it wasn't a
Okay.
stinker. And just, I mean, so there were parts of this movie that I liked. There were a few parts that just fell flat, but it's not that I disliked them; they just fell flat. And I think people thought that this movie was like, I don't know, people just kind of hyped this movie as the most magical movie in years, and blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. And
Magical.
well, you know, like they made it sound like it was so hilarious and this, that, and the other, and it was okay. I mean, it was an okay movie. I mean, I'm not mad I watched it or anything, but it wasn't like it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this groundbreaking movie like people were trying to make it out to be. It was just a nod to old caper movies and detective movies, and I read that this was really something he's been wanting to do even since the Looper days, as kind of like an homage to Agatha Christie books, and so you can see it in there. So, did I hate it? No. Did I think it was like the top 10 movie of the last decade? No, I didn't think that either. I thought it was a serviceable movie that people can watch and like or dislike. And
It's a movie that people can watch. There you go.
It's like, it is what it is. It's not.
And they can like or dislike it.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, parts of this movie are pretty forgettable, and then parts of this movie.
I really wish
pretty good.
movie studios would get on board with using Al for their little pull quotes. They're missing out.
My favorite part of our reviews is Al's first comment and then the slow walk back.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm gonna get this. Because it's not old, right, Al? Because it's not old, right? I know I'm gonna get that. So, no, I'll say this: some of the performances totally killed it for me, and
Like
we'll
what?
get into that in a minute. We'll get
Killed
into
it in
We're reviewing
in
it.
a bad way.
What killed
Or
it
a
for you?
good
Yeah.
way?
Daniel Craig kept taking me out of the movie. I was like, dude, what?
What?
I didn't like it.
Alright.
I didn't like it.
You're gonna be a little not so thrilled to hear that they're making another movie with him in this universe with that character.
I loved him in this movie.
Yeah, I was like, okay, enough's enough. My favorite character of the whole movie, and I
Thought it
can't.
was good.
My favorite character in the whole movie was the detective sidekick that kept making all the little quips. The
Noah Segan.
yeah,
That's the actor's name.
yeah. So he's like a friend
That's
of
it.
Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
And
He was Boy
Is he
Blue
like
or
the
whatever.
fanboy? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
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 He had, I
was-
mean, he wasn't hilarious, but I found him interesting. Like sometimes he would say something, and I'd be like, oh, that was funny, you know.
I
But
did not find him compelling at all.
I found him-
Like, he
I
just made-
liked his character. I liked that he was such a fanboy. And that he
I mean,
just-
yeah.
and
I wouldn't say that he it was a standout of all the cast. And
yeah, I wouldn't go
performances
that
in this
far
movie.
either. I don't think anybody would, but
no, I'm just saying that
here we are.
I liked Lakeith Stanfield too. I liked him.
Who's that?
The other detective, the Lieutenant Elliot.
The main detective.
So you like the non, like the
Yeah.
the backup cops.
Man, I usually love Toni Collette, and I hated her in this movie. She was.
I think she's supposed to be like
No, I understand you're
that
supposed to hate
detestable.
her, but the I don't know, just the accent and everything just it's got on my
She's
nerves.
supposed to be like abrasive.
And Jamie Lee Curtis was not entertaining to me in this movie at all. So I didn't like
You
her.
liked
The funny
liked
thing
her
was,
great.
you liked the male characters, not the female characters. So we
Yeah.
get it.
yeah, every other show I say I like the female characters, so I'm good. Don't cancel.
Yeah, it's calculated, guys.
Yeah, it's calculated. Yeah, it's all a ruse. But no, I don't know.
I'm gonna start doing a
What
tally.
about Anna
after-
de Armas?
after you-
Did you like Anna de Armas?
Yeah, she was good. She's pretty good in most. I'm trying to think of anything I've seen her in. I just didn't
Blade
like her
Runner
in.
2049. I've only seen her in those two movies.
Oh, really?
This movie and Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, I've seen her in a couple other things. Nothing of great note, but I've seen her in a couple.
And a
other
lot
things.
of the best of Ben Affleck Twitter. Seen her in a lot of that. She
So-
does good work.
She does. Okay.
She
So-
laughs at all his jokes. It's great. Love it. I would too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not every day that Brandon's like, I wish I were Ana de Armas.
It is every day.
Yeah. Do you know who you're talking to?
But no, I thought they were great. Chris Evans was okay.
It's cool to see him playing kind of a a-hole type character again.
That's the thing. He was in a movie
Yeah.
a long time ago.
I just think of him. He reminded me actually a little bit of was it Not Another Teen? Maybe.
Yeah. Or
Yeah, that's-
Scott Pilgrim.
He was in a
His character in
movie
Scott
Yeah.
Pilgrim.
a
Yeah.
long time ago
Yeah.
called The Losers. Do you remember that movie?
I do. Yeah.
I never
And
saw it, but
oh, you would
Did you like that movie, Al?
you would probably like that, Brandon. I would imagine. Don't you think, Ryan?
Did
I
you
know what
like
it's
it?
about.
I thought some of it was okay.
It's a DC
Comic.
movie.
It's a
that's why I
comic book
asked.
movie, Al.
I thought it was
You hate
okay.
it now? You
No,
hate it?
I didn't say that.
You can change
Oh,
your
it's
answer. It's
garbage.
fine.
Oh,
Nobody's in
stinker.
their underwear.
It was good. It was good.
Nobody's
I
in
mean,
their underwear.
The acting was
Well,
trash.
Some
but,
people are in
you
their
know.
underwear, but not in the sense of being superhero. Anywho,
Anyway,
back to
Knives Out.
Back to Knives Out. No, I thought it was okay. I just didn't think it was the spectacle everybody kept making it out to be.
I
Oh
don't
my
remember it
gosh.
being
Alright,
a
so that was good.
spectacle. I don't remember that hype.
Oh, people were falling all over
I
themselves.
remember
for
people
this
liking
movie.
it, but
No, people were going nuts about this movie. I mean, it was like they acted like it was some groundbreaking film or something like that, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
it was.
I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I just don't remember.
I just remember
Like,
people
I remember.
saying
I
it
just
was
remember
good.
I remember it getting I think it has a super high Rotten Tomato score. I remember that, but I don't remember any kind of cultural.
Well, one thing we usually talk about at the top is the budget and the box office, and the budget for. Okay, so let's have a little fun with this. The budget for Star Wars: Last Jedi. Does anybody know?
Probably 210, 230, somewhere around there.
Okay. What I'm seeing here is it saying it could have been anywhere from 200 to 317 million. I'm seeing that on a couple of different references here. So,
Okay.
So the budget for this movie was 40 million. All right.
Mhm.
The box office for Last Jedi. Does anybody want to take a guess?
It's over $1 billion.
Okay.
1.2 billion.
Okay.
It
Ryan?
didn't
I know
make
it's
as
over
much
$1
as
billion,
Force
that's all.
Awakens. I remember that, but it did make over $1 billion.
All right.
That's
1.3.
when I started first worrying about it.
1.3. All right. So the box office for Knives Out. Does anybody want to take a guess?
I know what it is because I have it right here
like,
on the docket that we all
If I
share.
had to guess, 165.3 US.
The docket that we all share, but Al refuses to look at.
Al's not big on the show notes.
I'm gonna
Let's do it
guess.
live.
I'm gonna guess domestically it made 165.3 million and 309.2 million worldwide.
Brandon, you're very good at this.
Oh,
I know. So the full box office for this was the budget of The Last Jedi. So that's why I wanted to say that. Like, well, roughly.
Yeah.
So they still, I mean, they still made a boatload of money off this movie. So, so anyway, I just wanted to make sure we got that out there before we went too much further. Anyway, Ryan, what did you think of Knives Out?
It was good. I actually enjoyed the acting pretty much all around. Michael Shannon was
Yeah, he was good,
a standout to me.
but he's always
and
good.
I mean, I think we've talked about him before on the pod even, but
You mean Sam Rockwell wasn't in this movie?
Yeah,
He was the cat.
been trying to figure out while we reviewed this, but whatever.
And I love Daniel Craig. I think part of that was coming off of Logan. Have you seen Logan Lucky, Al?
Yeah.
I loved him in that movie, and the
No
humor
bacon.
was just, yeah, the humor was great in that. So I was happy to see him return to kind of a semi-comedic role. You know, getting away from the whole like Bond persona is always a funny juxtaposition for him.
Yeah.
And deArmas was good. I think those are the main standouts for me. I will agree, Brandon, now that you mention it, the Chris Evans, his character was fun. Again, it's just a huge contrast from the Captain America goody two shoes Chris Evans. And I guess more in line with him in the news over the last week, huh?
Mm.
This isn't Cast.
It's not about that.
I guess Al didn't see the news. Never
No,
mind.
I've been
Don't Google Chris Evans.
okay. All right. I'm fine without doing that. No, I've been tracking a hurricane, so Chris Evans the last thing on my mind. Anything else you want?
No, I thought it was good. I like the plot. I like the pacing of it. It was real. Like there wasn't any like moments in the movie or time spans in the movie where I kind of like shut down and it was just slow for me.
Yeah.
And I liked a lot of the camera work too, especially in that the main room where they have the big knives.
Yeah, it's a cool set piece.
Yeah. And just how they work the camera in that room.
B. Randon.
Yeah, I was into it. I
Yep.
mean, it's good.
Good.
Good movie. I liked it. No, I mean, as far as I would just say the same thing. As far as the cast is great. Pretty much from top to bottom. I didn't really have any issues with any of the cast, to be honest. And
I totally forgot the is it sister from Righteous Gemstones was in it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's like the housekeeper.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I didn't like her.
She's supposed to kind of give you that feeling, I think.
So everybody I didn't like was supposed to make me not like them.
I mean,
who else?
the people that you're naming
So
are
Daniel-
supposed to be
Colette,
kind of
like-
unlikable.
Daniel
for the
Craig
most
was
part.
supposed to not be likable.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, you are kind of supposed to be
Al.
rooting against him because you're supposed to be sympathetic towards Ana de Armas, and so he's like on her trail, and so he's kind of one of the villains in the movie, in a sense.
Marta.
Yeah, Marta.
Marta.
No, let's get back to my thoughts. I thought
Oh,
it was
geez.
really good. I liked it, and again, the cast was good, and I liked kind
Don't
of
care what you say, Al.
the Clue-ish type, not caper, but more of a whodunit type thing. And I like how it kind of takes a break in the middle of the movie and becomes a little bit like outside of. I thought it was going to be this very contained, just like everything goes down at the house kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then as you proceed, you kind of get which it is, but that it also like kind of has a few more set pieces and kind of changes into
Let's maybe breathe a little bit when it
breaks it up a little bit. Got a little bit of action scene with the car chase, and cool.
So
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when she says she's in the car with Daniel Craig, and she's like, "Can I go pick something up?" And he's like waiting in the car, and he's just the cop cars are showing up behind him, and he's got his headphones in. He's like, "Oh Lord!"
Oh Lord.
yeah. Did you guys notice Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this movie?
He has like a
I know he was
voiceover
a voice
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
news.
Well,
I didn't-
where was it?
On the news.
I didn't notice it, but I did read it.
So
Factoid.
I do want to
I
give
noticed his cameo in The Last Jedi. Oh, it was great.
I want to give some factoids here about the awards. So
Okay.
it was nominated for
Movie of the year.
Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, and then the only the notable awards outside of that, like, well, you might be interested in this. The Georgia Film Critics Association, didn't know that was a thing.
Wow.
Nominated it for Best
I'm
Original
part of it.
Screenplay. No, now.
Brandon founded it.
Yeah. And,
Wrote the book.
and then the Golden Globes is where they got nominated quite a bit. Best motion.
So we did have a little fake news earlier.
Best motion. No, I said awards. Best motion picture.
Technicality.
Musical or comedy. Knives Out. Best actor. Daniel Craig. Best actress. Anna deArmas. So, and there were for other awards, but I mean, who's really paying attention to the satellite awards or things like that?
Not me.
So Al, I know you're gonna say that you figured it out pretty quick. When did you figure it out? Like when the dogs are on the screen at the very first frame of the movie? Is that when you're like, oh, I know what happened? I know what happens here.
No. So let me walk you down my train of thought here.
Mhm.
At first, I thought this was going to turn out like a movie that I saw back in the 90s, I think, when Michael J. Fox called Greed, and where I think Kirk Douglas was the grandfather. Anyway, it was a bunch of kind of the same situation. It wasn't as quirky as this movie, but everybody was kind of after his inheritance, and he faked his own death and so on and so forth. So, and I was kind of like, are they going to do that? Oh no. Kind of felt that way. And my sister that was watching it with me she was like, yeah, I think they are. So, but anyway, shortly after that, I figured out it was a real death. Because Jamie Lee Curtis kept saying, that she thought it was going to be a game too much. So I knew it wasn't a game anymore. And then I would say, probably later in this movie than most, but I would probably say whenever they started going down the rabbit hole of Chris Evans in the room with him, talking about you'll be sorry or whatever it was he said. So yeah, it was pretty late. It wasn't super early on. I was nervous for the first 30 minutes that it was going to be, or for 20 minutes after he, killed himself, that it was going to be the movie like Greed. So, no,
well, they kind of do a little bit of misdirection as far as you kind of think at first, okay, somebody killed him, but then it's revealed, you're led to believe that she just gave him the wrong dose and then he slit his throat.
Right.
But and then it's like, all right, well then now we know what happened, and we're just trying to see how Marta deals with it.
That's how I felt. I didn't catch. I'll be honest, I didn't catch on to what was happening at all until it was described at the end. I just found myself up to the point where we see what happens. After that, it was more of just like, how are we going to make this okay for Marta? Like, just wanting her to be okay. it wasn't necessarily trying to, I don't know, figure out
Well,
some crazy conspiracy.
I knew they needed another element to it because that would have been a
Well, I was expecting another element, but
Yeah.
like where, like my mind kind of shifted from a whodunit to like
oh, I know who done it. So,
to just I don't know, trying to like get her out of the situation she was in,
right.
because she's kind of like the nice character in the movie, and you want everything to work out for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you think that at any time in the movie, did you either of you think that she was just putting up a front and maybe
No.
she wasn't that nice? I didn't either. I think they tried to throw that misdirection in there. Like,
I don't even think, I think that they purposely didn't with the puking thing.
yeah.
Like where she couldn't tell a lie.
Yeah, that was a good tell. But whenever she walked in and Fran, was that the person's name?
Yeah.
She walked in and Fran was dying, and I think for a split second they wanted you to believe like she's gonna
Well,
get out of here.
they have her say you did this,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then it's obvious
You
the reveal
did
later. I
this.
mean, but she says you did this in that take, and then when they go back, because I watched it again a couple of days ago,
Wow.
and so then there's like, I guess because there's no like narration
Even
going
then,
on.
even
Like,
then
there's
though,
there's
I don't
no
think
like
it's.
what.
God.
Well,
Go ahead.
the thing about that is that's kind of an issue that I have with it. They that reveal at the end that she said Hugh did this and not you. It's not like there's a character telling a story and it's just like a unreliable narrator type situation. I mean, we're seeing that in real time. It's not a flashback scene with the housekeeper saying you did
Mhm.
this. So for them to, after the fact, go back and show you that she said Hugh when, yeah, sure, she does in that version of it, but in the original version, she does say you. But I guess we're meant to just be under Marta's recollection of that scene in real time. So, I don't know. It's kind of as far as that's like for me, it's like a little bit of a.
I think that's just a case of like you digging, like being willing to dig into it more. Like, I didn't know that she said you in the first take and Hugh in the second.
Yeah.
And
You gotta go
I'm
back and listen
totally
to it.
okay with it. Like, I just I don't know. I still think it's a creative.
I just think it's not as like passable as that's interesting, because it's not like a flashback scene where she's telling her she's not relaying that to the detective, as far as like he's not interviewing her, she's not retelling an account of what happened. This is like past all that. It's not like it's like the in real time
Gotcha.
story. So that's just an issue that I had.
I have a
how they-
question. My sister Amanda was asking me this, and I've looked it up online, and I think I have my theory of why. I wanted to ask you guys your theory, and then I'll tell you my theory. Why did they never pay off the fact that Marta was not invited to the funeral? Because they
Well,
kept
it
talking
seemed
about
like-
it.
Yeah. I don't know if it. I think they all didn't want her there. I think they all just used that as a, hey, I wanted you there, but I got outvoted. It seemed like everybody said that, and enough of them said it to where nobody could have outvoted her.
Actually, the only people
Yeah.
that said it was outvoted was what's his name?
Two people said it at least.
There's two people. Jamie Lee Curtis says it at the beginning, and then her husband says it.
Well, Michael Shannon says it with his daughter
then
or his son.
three people then.
So
I also enjoyed how they kept they kept saying she was from a different country, each person.
yeah, they didn't.
I love that scene where he's like, the husband is like, I know we'll get back to what you were saying now, but I want to say this. I loved how he was like,
But
you got to do it the right way. Marta, come over here. And he's like, you're from Ecuador. You came in, you did it the right way. And he's like handing her his plate. Like, he's like still like treating her like a low life, like the help or whatever.
I read that Don Johnson came up with that, and it was kind of improvised to hand her his plate. And
Nice.
so, yeah, that's pretty nice. And the daughter that screams out, "You did stuff with my grandfather," that Michael Shannon heard that during a take, and it was kind of covered up by everybody yelling. So they made sure that was heard in the next take.
The grandson said that, right?
Was it the grandson?
No.
Yeah, I think it was the like far right grandson kid.
Maybe.
I don't know. I
It
thought it was the daughter.
It sounds more in line with his character. Yeah.
Anyway, either way, so anyway, they all kind of had a little input in this, but
so answer your question, Al.
I figured that sometimes, and it's similar to what you guys are saying, but sometimes when people are highfalutin and they want you around until they don't want you around, they'll use and abuse you kind of thing. That they're kind of acting like they're close to her, so they act like they know a lot, but they don't know anything about her. Is kind of the way I saw it. So
yeah,
I think we're all saying similar things, if not the same thing. So Amanda, it was discussed here. It's not discussed anywhere else on the internet, and it was bothering my sister.
It felt to me like they were just trying to like sell that how BS it was that they were like this family unit.
Yeah,
they were just all in it for the money. Like
yeah. And that scene where Michael Shannon meets Marta in her hallway or out when she's trying to leave her apartment out back and she's going out the back way. That was Michael Shannon can do that better than anybody. Make you uncomfortable. Like you're like, man,
yeah, he can.
He is so good at that. So
especially in like The Shape of Water, those scenes of him, just like they're great.
Yeah, he's one of those actors that's underrated, but at the same time he's not underrated. Like a lot of people know of his face, but they don't know his name. You know what I mean? So
right.
But he's
that guy who was good.
Yeah, he's really good. So anyway, so I thought the set design on this movie was pretty good. What do you guys think about the interior of the mansion?
I think I mean Ryan already called out like the main little like living room area with or study or whatever it was that had like the knives thrown or whatever. That was really cool. I like the little hidden entryway to his like little, was it his bedroom or his little, not a bedroom, I guess it was more
the
just
hallway
like the little
up there,
game room where they played. Library little area or something. Yeah, I mean the house was really cool, and I think they did a good job of like nailing down the geography of the house as far as in like the squeaky steps and like how like showing how all the characters like they like showing you visually where logistics like as far as the characters were during all the events of the night, and all the little shenanigans that happened with her climbing up the side of the house and the geography of just the estate itself.
I think the house lended itself well to kind of grounding this modern mystery movie in like that classic murder mystery feel.
It was cool to see this type of story in a modern time versus like an like
exactly,
more of a,
Well, that was one thing like that. I liked the set design. Thought it was really well done. It felt quasi Wes Anderson in parts, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, it just was what it was. But there were parts of this movie where I was like, all right, what time frame are you in? Because it felt old, and then it felt like they just kind of like shoved a computer or a phone in there or whatever. So I'm not saying that they felt like it didn't feel jumbled or anything like that, but it just felt like they wanted it to have that old feel, but they wanted it to be a new movie, and it was.
See, it just felt like
it
felt just like old money to me.
Well, yeah,
like
that, and I think the nature of this type of story leans itself to that, but setting it in modern time, like maybe it's meant to feel like a juxtaposition.
Yeah, I think that is the case. Like if you think about them like doing something similar in like a penthouse, you just wouldn't have that like, I don't know, like classic mystery movie feel at all.
No, it was. I mean, I'm not taking away from that. I'm not saying it's a shot.
Also, the music too, like, did the same thing. It was very like classic feeling. A lot of stringed instruments. Yeah.
I mean, I honestly can't remember the music off the top of my head. It just fell out of my brain. So, anyway, there were good parts, there were bad parts, but I guess I don't know why
there's
that's funny.
the Instagram post for the week.
So,
yeah, good parts and bad parts. I mean, it's a movie.
Anyways,
you can go see it. People can see it. It's a movie. Or don't. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't really care.
You're full of twists, Al.
Hey,
more twists than this movie.
There were no twists in this movie. There was like maybe like quarter of a twist. So
here first. No twist.
Yeah, there were good parts. There were bad parts.
So is there anything else anybody wants to say before we kind of give our?
I liked it. And I'll say that. That's the definitive statement from me. I liked it. I liked the cast.
I'm Brandon. I support this message.
I liked the twist.
That's
okay
on the record.
I liked how they revealed the twist at the end, like you know, with the grandson. Like, grandson, is that you?
Oh, by the way, that lady that played the lady by the window and everything, she was supposed to be Christopher Plummer's mom in the movie. She's 6 years younger than him. It's like in real life.
That's kind of funny.
That's got to be a.
I thought it was funny
how
none of them knew how old she was.
Yeah. But
no, I liked. I really liked one scene that I really liked as far as like the movie going to a place that, or not necessarily a place. Like it's not like it affected me emotionally or anything. But I really liked when Daniel Craig was going through, like, basically breaking down what happened when they were all in there with Ransom, and he was like basically telling about the viscosity of the two different medicines, and he points out that Marta, like, she instinctively like went to the one that was his actual medicine, not the morphine, because he's like, because you're a good nurse, and like it was like, that's like, you could tell that like that was just like a little bit of like payoff to her morality as a character, I guess, as far as like establishing that like she is a good person,
right?
You know,
yeah,
and that she does her job.
The way
She's
he
like good at her
the way
job.
he delivers that line too is really hammered that home.
Yeah, it's really endearing. That part really stood out to me. But and then also the part where she throws up on him, that was cool. And I also love the part where he with the whole knife situation. He grabs the one knife that's not an actual knife. It's pretty great.
I love that. Like,
well, yeah, I remember that line from the beginning of the movie, and I knew she wasn't going to be stabbed because he says something like, "You can't tell the difference of a real knife and a toy knife," or something like Christopher Plummer. And so, as he grabs that knife, I'm like, "Oh, that's a toy knife." So I did.
Yep. In the moment, Al knew it. He knew it.
I'm not trying to. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, dude, you're smart. You're a smart guy. You catch everything. So it's awesome. I wish I could be you.
I understand. I understand why you'd want to do that. You could, you know.
No, I mean, it's.
You could understand British people. It'd be great.
How did you book our next therapy session, just as a group?
Yeah. Well, I got us a British therapist. So
hugely beneficial.
I need the
for Brandon.
the Google glasses with the subtitles to just the AR experience that can pop up, translate.
Yeah. CiNEMACHiNE, the only podcast where if you're from London, that's a foreign language. So
It's foreign dialect. Stand by it. Ryan, final thoughts, stinker.
Yeah, Ryan, what's your final thoughts?
I mean, I would agree. I would echo what you said. Loved the reveals at the end. Loved the little twist mid reveal at the end too, where she said Fran was alive, and they had to kind of like adjust how they were approaching the reveal to Chris Evans when she gets that phone call, and they record him confessing. So that was kind of cool. There were a couple of little audibles where Martha was going in to basically confess, and then Daniel Craig stopped her, and then there was that phone call. So it kept kind of just going a little bit different direction than you would think it would. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like I said, I enjoyed this movie. I would say there are more good parts than bad parts, Al.
I would echo your echo.
Like, I can't looking back on it. I can't really think of any. There weren't any scenes that like took me out of the movie or anything. I felt like it was all pretty cohesive, and it was a fresh take. I'm not a huge Murder on the Orient Express. I have fallen asleep watching that movie twice, so I'm just generally not a huge. What's up?
It's funny you say that because Rian Johnson notes that the book of that, as one of the influences for this movie.
It's an Agatha Christie book, I think.
Yeah. And also Christopher Plummer his character was dead at 85 in this movie on his 85th birthday. So that was a nod to Agatha Christie. She died at 85.
Gotcha.
Facts.
But yeah, I mean, it was just all kinds of movie tidbits from you tonight. I enjoyed it overall.
Cool. Yeah, so I guess the last question here is, Brandon, would you buy it, see it, throw it in the river, ship it, discount movie? What would you do, Brandon?
I would say you buy it. I think this is one that even if you like a lot of these movies where you kind of that plays out, the twist, a lot of those type of movies you don't return to as often, but this one I didn't see it super, like it was maybe 2 months ago when I watched it for the first time. I watched it again just to refresh on it, and it was still just as enjoyable because the performances are really good, the characters are pretty interesting, and it's it's humorous, so I found it to be a good rewatch. So I'd say buy it. Go ahead.
Okay,
buy it.
Ryan, what would you do?
I would also buy it.
And a matter of fact, you both have bought it.
It's true.
That's true.
Physical media, baby.
Word. I had not seen it since theaters. And I had forgotten the level of humor, and humor just goes a long way with me with rewatchability. So, that, and I think it's a good one if somebody comes over and wants to watch a movie, if it's not a comic book movie at my house, but this would be a good one if they hadn't seen it.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna say borrow this from a friend or stream it for free. I don't know how to say it any other way. I mean, I bought it because I was excited to see it.
Al says download illegally.
No, I don't say that. But just don't. I wouldn't pay to see it. I mean, I bought it because it was on discount at one point, and I was like, I want to see that, and I just got around to seeing it. So, that's just me though. So, I would say don't steal it, but borrow it. So, well,
if you have to by force.
Yeah, that's our review of Knives Out. Let us know down in the comments or on social media if you agreed or disagreed with, I guess, mostly me, because that's usually where those comments are pointed.
Send all those comments to Al Moses III at.
So, anywho, but now we have to do a little voting, and this is where you all get to pick what we are going to watch next. Now, just let everybody know we have a special episode coming out close to the end of this week. We won't divulge what that movie is right now.
We could, so they can watch it.
Go for it.
Yeah,
You know what?
tell them.
Let them
They
hear.
can watch it in preparation.
Fire away.
Okay, so we're going to review The Devil All the Time, the Netflix original flick with quite the cast, another ensemble. Yeah.
Ensemble.
Yeah.
The Brevs.
The criterion. That's what the
Ensemble.
criterion people say.
Ensemble. So we're going to review that, and that'll be out later in the week, but we wanted to make sure that we paid off the movie wed game first. So, fellas, do you have movies that you want to put up for voting? Ryan, let's go with you first.
I'm gonna throw a little Tarantino action at
Yeah.
you. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Fantastic. You made this ginger happy. Brandon.
I'm going to throw out another one that I have already
Tarantino?
added to the list. I mean, we could all just throw Tarantino movies and just see which one gets picked. I'd be fine with that. If we want to change,
Nah, do what you were
change
going to
the
do.
MO. I don't know. I'm down. I love some
I'm cool with
Tarantino.
whatever.
We all know what's going to win. I'm going to throw Honey Boy out there again.
All right. All right. So I'm going to start my campaign to watch a particular movie. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm going to hold this podcast hostage every week, and I'm going to suggest the same movie every single week until you guys pick this movie. So you sadistic people out there that don't want to watch Green Room are crazy. And that's my pick of the week.
56 weeks later.
Yeah, right. It's good. Episode 412. Green Room is a great movie.
Green Room.
And I
Come
think
on,
we
guys.
got
When we finally get to do Green Room, we'll just show all the bunch of jump cuts of Al nominating Green Room. Green Room. I let him nominate Green Room. I think I'm gonna nominate Green Room. Green Room. Green Room. Green Room.
I got to go sign up for all my Gmail burner accounts real quick. But
You better, yeah, I was gonna say you better start doing some campaigning on social. 'Cause,
no, I say Green Room. I honestly think more and more people need to see that, and also
I
need to
agree
be
with you.
introduced to Jeremy Saulnier. So
It's a good one. So
Go.
the choice is yours.
yes,
Audience.
vote. And Ryan, do you want to tell them where they can vote again?
Yep. If you're watching on YouTube, just throw your vote down in the comments. And the easiest place on social is Instagram at CiNEMACHiNEPod. And I'll just take the total of all the votes on all the different social channels and tally them up, and we'll post the winner.
Chicken dinner.
And we will watch it,
Winner,
and
winner.
we will review, and then you can comment as much as you agree or disagree with us on your choice. So, and if you have other movies that we haven't mentioned that you would like for us to get to, please leave those down in the comments and on social as well. Who knows? You might introduce us to a movie that we haven't heard of. So we're always open to that. So I want to say thank you so much for watching CiNEMAChine. Fellas, do you have any parting words for the folks at home?
Bye.
I guess we'll see you a little later this week.
So everybody,
Double dose of CiNEMAChine.
yeah. So everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next CiNEMAChine.